Ooh, how's it going? I'm still trying to stop this dog from getting through into next door's garden. Every time she does something and gets through, like she did last night, we try and patch a bit up. I'm going to show you what we've got. I've taken this orange fencing down because, believe it or not, the orange fencing is about 1 metre high and she jumps over it. She jumps over it, so it's pointless. Anyway, the easiest answer would be to carry on the fence down here until it meets the fence at the bottom there. But there are shrubs this side of the old fence and that side of the old fence, and that is a last resort. So at the moment I'm just playing patching up to the best of my ability. I'm going to take you in and you can have a look and see what I've been doing. She's an absolute little madam. And then we'll have a little look at the grass and I'll show you what's what. So we've got a little bit of access here. Now this fence has seen way better days. It's very old. It's these old metal posts, and these next door neighbours put some of these metal things in, and I may have to get some of these. I was looking at a mesh roll, which I may have to use, but I've still got this orange fence in. And what I've done, I've put some pallets in just to block up the little gaps, because nobody comes round here, so it doesn't matter what it looks like for now. And I put the orange mesh in front as well, and I've just spent 10 minutes chopping down branches which were basically in my way here, so I've just got a nice clean walkway through. And if push comes to shove, we'll have to give everything a really good cut back and put a new fence in, but for now I think we've done it. So she was coming down here and there was a gap here between some old fencing and it was open, and yesterday we were around the other side of the garden just looking at the access, and she came through, just down there. So what I've done, I've put this old piece of wood here and a bit of mesh on top and a bit of mesh curled round here, and if this is the access in, and I put the orange mesh in front, so hopefully that will keep her out for a little while. But because she's good at jumping, I've got a feeling that at some point she's going to find a way to jump over here. But we'll cross that bridge. We'll either put some more mesh on, or we'll just replace all the fencing. But for now, that's where we're at. I thought you might want to see this, because I've mentioned it once or twice, and she's a little monkey. Now further on down the garden, I've checked, there is some really old fence panels like this, and they are a bit past it. Well, they're definitely past it, but they seem to be pretty much intact with a lot of foliage and rocks around them, so I can't see any access through there. So fingers crossed. Good little hiding place, this. You know, when you're 6 or 7, it's a great little place. Right. So, what else? I actually got round and replaced all the electrical cable up to the garage. I told you I'd dug a trench and we buried the cables in. Now I have put the soil back on here and started putting some of the slabs down. And here I've put the soil back. And I know that those panels will rot prematurely, but they're quite cheap panels, so I'll just replace them if they need replacing. I've still got to carry on up here. We've got this pile of soil going all the way up to the garage and a little trench to fill in. So we're getting there. Now, it's a bit too late to be seeding, but you never know, I might chuck some low temperature seeds on and see how it goes. Or I may just chuck a bit of turf on. So everything is wet and boggy. Really wet and really boggy. And the lawn itself, it's just, the rain we've had has just been phenomenal. It's just killed everything off pretty much at this top end where the shade is. Nothing's taken at all. And I actually gave this a mow a week ago, and the next day we had a storm and it blew all the leaves back. So I'm going to be giving it another mow today, clear up the dog poo. But I tell you what, it's wet. You can feel it squelching underfoot. So if I do go over it, it's just going to be a very careful one, literally just to pick up the leaves. What I'm going to do also, I'm just going to cut some of these shrubs back a little bit, just to neaten them up so we've got clear access up the path. Just general tidying up really. We've got everything else tidied away for winter. Yeah, that's where we're at. So, also, somebody asked me about how to clean filters in your sprayer when you spray an iron, because iron sulphate does tend to clog up your sprayers easily. So I'm going to show you that once I've got this tidied up, and we'll take it from there. Well, that's not looking too bad actually. Always looks better, doesn't it, when you give it a mow? Now we can't help the thinning just because of the shade and the sheer amount of water we've had. However, last week's autumn fertiliser and iron has made a difference. You can see it's a darker green. It actually looks a little healthier. Now while the grass is growing, in other words, if it's 7 degrees and above, it's going to grow. It's going to grow slower, but it's still going to grow. You can put autumn fertiliser on, autumn, okay? Once we get no higher than 6 or 7, stop. That could be any time around now, it all depends how mild it gets. But while you are doing that, it is still taking in the nutrients, it is still helping the roots. It's still going to help it out. When you make iron up, you make it up according to the instructions. If it's liquid iron, you'll have to follow the instructions. I have never used liquid iron myself. I've always used the powdered stuff, and pretty much the same sort of stuff for the last 25 years nearly. So you mix it up according to instructions. For me, 20 litres of water, around a kilogram or 1,000 millilitres of powder. And don't forget a green deflector tip nozzle. Now to clean it, you get filters. And you need to check the filters on your particular nozzle, on your particular sprayer. Now on my commercial sprayers here, there's a filter here in the handle, and you get to it by undoing this little nut here off of the pipe. Now this is actually full. If I undo this now, with the pressure built up, it's just going to squirt out. So you need to release some of the pressure or empty it first. So I'm just going to hold it over the grass. And just wait for the pressure to go. It's getting rather weak now. Now, also, it helps if your pipe is higher than your sprayer. So you may need some mole grips to undo this, but I've got this just hand tight. Now this actually isn't too bad because I cleaned this the other day, but you'll probably have to do this once a week. Now it's already starting to dribble out. Yeah? Now if I go lower, it all starts to dribble out, so you need to keep that pretty high. Now, bear with me. Hi guys, so for some reason we've lost audio here, but you can see there the mesh filter. It's a plastic filter. Now when it's really clogged up, you will see like a grey or brown sludge completely covering it. You see the little strands there. Generally all of that filter will be covered in a grey brown sludge, and you've just got to get it off. So it tends to start and form at the top and then works its way down. And basically you've got to clean that. So there's a few ways. I generally just give it a tap there onto the wand. And that usually is enough to clean it out. But you can also use like a steel wire brush or any sort of hard brush just to get any of that debris off. And then when you're finished, all you do, put it back inside and just tighten it up. Make sure it's tight enough. I've learnt over the years with this type of sprayer, the Cooper Pegler 20 litre CP3 Classic, hand tight is usually enough. And that's pretty much it. So I'm also going to show you on these other two sprayers that we've got. We've got the Oregon backpack sprayer and we've got the Flow Zone battery sprayer. So this is the Oregon, and I've done a video on this previously. It's not a bad little sort of entry level sprayer. Again, there is a filter and it's contained within the handle. So again, all you need to do is undo this. I've already checked the sprayer, there's nothing in there, and there's no pressure, so there's no fluid. You see the filter there, and it's literally just the same process. Undo and check. Now you only need to do this when you find that you pump in your sprayer and it's just not coming out. It's really hard to pump and it's really hard to get any fluid to come through. So yeah, now there's Tilly. She's the little monkey that keeps getting through the garden and into next doors. Now here we've got the Flow Zone battery powered backpack sprayer. Now I haven't used this for iron, so I've never really had to sort of think about cleaning filters, but if you look in there, there is a little internal filter which you can take out with a twist and a pull. And I'm not going to bother, but it's basically in there if you've got any problems. There are some videos on YouTube which will show you how to do that. If you look up Flow Zone cleaning out the filters, you'll find some videos that explain how to get on with that. There may be some in the handle as well, but again, I haven't checked. But that's just to give you a bit of a head start. Right, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, comments, please leave them down below. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.